53. Imbibing, the Chan Lord conceives a ghostly child. Yellow Dame brings water to end the weird fetus. Perform 800 virtuous acts. Make 3,000 unknown merits. Treating justly thing and self, kin and foe. Will fit Western heaven's basic vow. Bull demon fears no knife or sword. In vain water and fire have toiled. Lao Tzu subdues it, turns its face to heaven. Laughing, he now the green buffalo leads. We were telling you that someone by the road was calling the pilgrims. Who could it be? You ask. They were actually the mountain god and the local spirit of the Golden Helmet Mountain. Holding up the alms bowl of purple gold, they cried, "Oh, holy monk!" This bowl of rice was one which the great sage Sun succeeded in begging from a good place. Because all of you did not listen to sound advice, you fell by mistake into the hands of a demon. The great sage had to toil and struggle most pitifully before he managed to rescue you today. Come and eat the rice first before you journey. Don't abuse the filial reverence of the great sage. Disciple, said Tripitaka, I'm deeply indebted to you, and I can't thank you enough. If I had known it before, I would have never left that circle of yours, and there would have been no such mortal danger. To tell you the truth, master, said Pilgrim, because you did not believe in my circle, you had to be placed in someone else's circle. What suffering you had to bear. It's lamentable. What do you mean by someone else's circle? Asked 8 Rules. Pilgrim replied, coolly, it was the doing of your cursed mouth and cursed tongue that landed this great ordeal on master. What old monkey dug up in heaven and on earth the fire, the water, the celestial soldiers, and the cinnabar sand of the Buddha, they were all sucked away by a ghostly white fillet of his. Through 2 arhats, however, Tathagata secretly revealed to old monkey the origin of that fiend, and only then could we ask Lao Tzu to come here to subdue him. It was his green buffalo that was causing all the trouble. When Tripitaka heard this, he thanked him profusely, saying, worthy disciple, after this experience, I will certainly listen to you next time. Whereupon the 4 of them divided up the rice to eat, rice that was still steaming hot. This rice has been here for a long time, said Pilgrim. Why is it still hot? Kneeling down, the local spirit said, since this humble deity has learned that the great sage has achieved his merit, he heated up the rice first before serving it. In a moment, they finished the rice and put away the alms bowl. Having taken leave of the mountain god and the local spirit, the master mounted his horse to pass the tall mountain. Thus it was that, mind purged of care, they the Buddha's wisdom embrace. They dine on wind and rest by water to journey west. After traveling for a long time, it was again early spring, and they heard purple swallows murmuring and orioles warbling. Purple swallows murmur, tiring their scented beaks. Orioles warble, their artful notes persist. Ground full of fallen blooms like brocade spread out. Whole mountain birthing green like mounds of moss. On the peak green plums are budding. The cliff cedars detain the clouds. Faint, misty lights o'er the meadows. Sandbars warmed by bright sunshine. In few gardens floral stamens unfold. The sun back to earth turns willow strands gold. As they walked along, they came upon a small river of cool, limpid currents. The elder Tang reined in his horse to look around and saw in the distance several thatched huts beneath willows hanging jade-like. Pointing in that direction, Pilgrim said, there must be someone running a ferry boat in those houses. It's likely, said Tripitaka. But since I haven't seen a boat, I don't dare open my mouth. Dropping down the luggage, 8 Rules shouted, hey, ferryman, punt your boat over here. He yelled several times, and indeed, from beneath the shade of willows a boat emerged, creaking as it was punted. In a little while, it approached the shore while master and disciples stared at it. Truly, as a paddle parts the foam, a light boat floats on the waves, with olive cabins brightly painted, and a deck made of flat, level boards. On the bow, iron cords encircle. At the stern, a shining rudder stem. Though it may be a reed of a boat, it will sail the lakes and the seas. Though without fancy cables and tall masts, it has, in fact, oars of cedar and pine. It's unlike the divine ship of great distance, but it can traverse a river's width. It comes and goes only between two banks. It moves only in and out of ancient fords. In a moment, the boat touched the bank, and the person punting called out, "If you want to cross the river, come over here." Tripitaka urged his horse forward to take a look at the boatman and saw that the person had on the head a woolen wrap, and on the feet, 2 black silk shoes. On the body, an often patched cotton coat. 1,000-stitched old cloth skirt hugged the waist. The wrists had coarse skin, and the tendons, strength. Dim eyes, knitted brows showed features of age. The voice like an oriole's was soft and coy. An old woman appeared on closer look. Walking to the side of the boat, Pilgrim said, "You are the one ferrying the boat." "Yes," said the woman. "Why is the ferryman not here?" asked Pilgrim. "Why is the ferrywoman punting the boat?" The woman smiled and did not reply. She pulled out the gangplank instead and set it up. Sha Monk then pulled the luggage into the boat, followed by the master holding onto Pilgrim. Then they moved the boat sideways so that 8 rules could lead the horse to step into it. After the gangplank was put away, the woman punted the boat away from shore and, in a moment, rowed it across the river. After they reached the western shore, the elder asked Sha Monk to untie one of the wraps and take out a few pennies for the woman. Without disputing the price, the woman tied the boat to a wooden pillar by the water and walked into one of the village huts nearby, giggling loudly all the time. When Tripitaka saw how clear the water was, he felt thirsty and told 8 rules. "Get the alms bowl and fetch some water for me to drink. I was just about to drink some myself," said Idiot, who took out the alms bowl and bailed out a full bowl of water to hand over to the master. The master drank less than half of the water, and when Idiot took the bowl back, he drank the rest of it in one gulp before he helped his master to mount the horse once more. After master and disciples found their way to the west, they had hardly traveled half an hour when the elder began to groan as he rode. "Stomachache," he said. 8 rules, who was behind him, also said, "I have a stomachache, too." Sha Monk said, "It must be the cold water you drank." But before he even finished speaking, the elder cried out, "The pain's awful." 8 rules also screamed, "The pain's awful." As the 2 of them struggled with this unbearable pain, their bellies began to swell in size steadily. Inside their abdomens, there seemed to be a clot of blood, or a lump of flesh, which could be felt clearly by the hand, kicking and jumping wildly about. Tripitaka was in great discomfort when they came upon a small village by the road. 2 bundles of hay were tied to some branches on a tall tree nearby. "Master, that's good," said Pilgrim. "The house over there must be an inn. Let me go over there to beg some hot liquid for you. I'll ask them also whether there is an apothecary around, so that I can get some ointment for your stomachache." Delighted by what he heard, Tripitaka whipped his white horse and soon arrived at the village. As he dismounted, he saw an old woman sitting on a grass mound outside the village gate and knitting hemp. Pilgrim went forward and bowed to her with palms pressed together, saying, "Popo, this poor monk has come from the great Tang in the land of the East. My master is the royal brother of the Tang court. Because he drank some water from the river back there after we crossed it, he is having a stomachache." Breaking into loud guffaws, the woman said, "You people drank some water from the river?" "Yes," replied Pilgrim. "We drank some of the clean river water east of here." Giggling loudly, the old woman said, "What fun! What fun! Come in, all of you. I'll tell you something." Pilgrim went to support Tang Monk while Sha Monk held up 8 rules. Moaning with every step, the 2 sick men walked into the thatched hut to take a seat, their stomachs protruding and their faces turning yellow from the pain. Popo. Pilgrim kept saying, "Please make some hot liquid for my master. We'll thank you." Instead of boiling water, however, the old woman dashed inside, laughing and yelling, "Come and look, all of you." With loud clip-clops, several middle-aged women ran out from within to stare at the Tang monk, grinning stupidly all the time. Enraged, Pilgrim gave a yell and ground his teeth together, so frightening all of them that they turned to flee, stumbling all over. Pilgrim darted forward and caught the old woman, crying, "Boil some water quick and I'll spare you." "Sire," said the old woman, shaking violently, "boiled water is useless to cure their stomachaches. Let me go and I'll tell you." Pilgrim released her and she said, "This is the women's state of Western Liang. Not even a single male but only women live in our state. That's why we were amused when we saw you. That water your master drank is not the best, for the river is called Child and Mother River. Outside our capital we also have a male reception post house, by the side of which there is also a pregnancy reflection stream. Only after reaching her 20th year would someone from this region dare go and drink that river's water, for she would feel the pain of conception soon after she took a drink. After 3 days, she would go to the male reception post house and look at her reflection in the stream. If a double reflection appears, it means that she will give birth to a child.